One misconception about corporate rehab is that it's about quitting your job, and it's not. It's actually about ditching the hustle culture. And really what it's trying to do is shift your mindsets and your patterns. You're directing that ambition and purpose towards things that are more meaningful. When I first began my career, I was full of ambition and excitement. I have a lot of gifts I wanted to give to the world. I always knew I wanted to work. I think some of the challenges came from me when I had kids and tried to figure out how I was going to be the kind of mom and fulfill all the roles that I wanted to fulfill while I was going to be the type of executive that I wanted to be. And so really what I decided to do was put my head down and hustle harder and run faster. And it worked, at least for one dimension of my life. And I made partner and was really proud of that phase of my career. When the pandemic was about 6 months underway, I actually got to a point where I was thinking, maybe this is the moment that I'm actually going to be able to make this whole work-life balance thing work. And that all cracked the day that my son brought me dinner right after a Zoom call. And I said, this is something we've gotten to rediscover together. And he said, yeah, it's been great, except you've been on 14 hours of Zoom calls every day, but I get to see you on the weekends. His cheeriness and cheerfulness really kind of hit me somewhere hard, that all the facade of me trying to pretend that this was what I wanted and that I was making it work was really cracking at that point. I wanted to do things that I felt like had more impact in the world, and that's really what drew me to that point of making a change. So I started to consume a lot of information and do some work on myself and try to understand and research what kept me there so long. And I was really looking for something that had the insights of Brené Brown, but just set in the reality of the rules of the corporate America of Jeff Bezos. And it didn't really exist. And so I wound up writing it. And I got flooded with 300 stories of other executive women who felt that they were in the same position. So it tells their stories, it tells mine, and then it walks you through the 5 steps of rehab, of recognizing your story, evaluating your patterns, healing, arising, and then building a new version of your work and life that works better for you. Typically when I actually work with executives who are trying to figure out the next steps in their careers and lives, the most obvious problem that they come to me with is burnout. And so that's one thing that I'd like to try to figure out how to do moving forward with other women, is how to help them harness that hustle without getting hooked on the hustle culture. It's my hope that if we're actually able to do this as leaders and teams in corporate America, you get people to stay in the game even longer, but they know what game that they're playing this time. I'm Jennie Blumenthal, and this is my Leader Bio.